EV maker will stop selling its full self-driving software for a flat rate. Instead, it's going to be available only as a monthly subscription after February 14th. Tesla's full self-driving software starts at $99 a month.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Right now on Good Day, residents in Manhattan, Illinois voice their concerns following a deadly crash involving a school bus.
And many college basketball players are facing charges in connection to a massive betting scheme.
And taking a live look outside, we might see some more snow showers today.
Good morning and welcome to the 5 a.m. hour of Good Day Chicago on this Orange Friday. I'm Brian Jackson.
And I'm Gabriela Primas. Yes, we're finally there, people.
Yes.
And we're a couple days closer to, or a day closer to, Sunday night, Mike. We know that there's going to be some weather impact with the game, at least for the Rams.
It will. Well, it's going to impact the Bears, too. We just hope it's more for the Rams.
We're used to it.
It's going to be cold for sure. It'll be breezy for sure. And there might even be a little bit of snow coming down. Don't expect a big accumulation, though. Today, we do have light snow, especially this morning, but not exclusively this morning. 29, light snow will be falling at 9 o'clock. 35 at noon, not as cold, so we're getting above freezing, which will promote a little bit of melting. And certainly, the roads are going to be, I think, in really good shape because the salt will be extremely effective. But it's going to be kind of slushy. 4 o'clock, perhaps a couple of snow showers out there at that time. Currently, it's just cloudy at O'Hare, 25 there. South-southwest wind blowing at 13 miles per hour, so the wind chill feels like 14. Other area temperatures, mid-20s for the most part, with a few spots in the upper 20s, including Joliet with 28, 27 at Morris, it's 27 at Gary, 25 at the Lakefront, 23 at Valparaiso, headed for the mid-30s this afternoon. Wherever you're headed, don't leave until you hear what Gabriela has to say about the commute.
Mike, I have this filter on again that shows us where we have snow-covered roads, which is pretty much everywhere around Chicagoland. As you said, the roads are salted, and they've been out in force, those trucks, making sure that our roads are looking okay. Luckily, that road temperature is high enough so that that salt is doing fairly well. We do have one crash to report. It's over on the Eisenhower. It's outbound at Central Avenue. It's a crash involving a car and a semi-truck. Apparently, that truck is on the right shoulder. The car is still in the right lane. Crews are there, and they might be blocking more lanes. Actually, I'm just getting a new report in that 3 left lanes are now going to be blocked. So please be aware of this. It's going to cause some stop and go, even with the low traffic volume that we're seeing right now. I'll keep you updated on that. It's time now to bear down on the Rams in the playoffs.
We've been buzzing all week long, getting ready for the big game this weekend. Roseanne is live with much more on the excitement. I feel like every fan you've interviewed this week has had on a Bears hat, Roseanne. I don't know how you find them.
You know what? The merch is insane. Everybody's buying new stuff. But we have come to the mothership, Soldier Field, home of the Bears, because the entire city is getting so pumped up about this game coming up on Sunday, the divisional playoff game. Fandemonium is in full swing, and we have seen signs popping up all over the city.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Fight for the fight so fierce. We'll never forget the way you built the nation with your team.
Okay, Monday, the Bears Monster Squad out Monday getting fans revved up outside Union Station with the Leo High School Choir. They handed out some bling and offered up selfies with Staley the Bear. And then just yesterday, the Monster Squad at it again. They were outside the Merchandise Mart, where the Caleb Williams Iceman cometh, a giant statue to Chicago's newest hero. Bears merch, you mentioned, Brian, it's been flying off the shelves. One store telling us sales are up 500% from this time last year. Caleb Williams jerseys are a hot seller, along with all the usual garb, plus the new #1 item. You guessed it, the cheese grater hat. And who knew that cheese graters from home would come in handy at Soldier Field one day? Thank Brandon Martinez for that. He is the fan seen shredding cheese from the stands, starting a whole new ritual for Bears-Packers games. So people getting revved up in a million ways. It's just really exciting to see the city so pumped up about this. But I have to tell you, it's a little nippy out here this morning. It may be a little rough for a certain team from a certain place that doesn't have these temperatures every day. So bring it on. The Rams headed to Soldier Field, face the Bears Sunday at 5:30. We're going to be trying to talk with some fans a little later. It's a little early. Everybody's just getting moving, but we'll hear what they have to say coming up. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Roseanne. Yeah, stay warm out there, and it's a cool 80 degrees in Southern California right now. So yeah, this will be a shock to the system for sure.
Yeah, much difference here in Chicago. Time is now 5:05 this Friday. A deadly school bus crash in Manhattan is now raising some safety concerns.
Residents say they've been warning local leaders about this intersection for years. Fire officials say the bus and a vehicle collided at the intersection of Manhattan-Monier Road and Kankakee Road Thursday morning. 10 students from District 114 were on that bus. The driver of the vehicle died at the scene. Manhattan residents say the intersection has been dangerous for a long time. One resident tells Fox Chicago many people have complained to the village about serious crashes, even deadly ones, and still nothing has changed.
I mean, there's accidents, not necessarily right here, but these intersections, we're always seeing flashing lights and emergency vehicles.
Several times a year.
Yeah, this year there's been more than usual. A lot of Lifestar flights. There was one recently over there, and there was another one over here a couple of months back.
The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
We're learning more about Wednesday night's deadly shooting in Morgan Park.
One man died while 2 others were left wounded. Fox Chicago's Brett Bugansky has more on this investigation.
You're talking about drugs and guns. No neighborhood is safe.
A fatal shooting Wednesday night in Morgan Park. 1 man dead, 2 more wounded. This is video we obtained from the Citizen app showing one crime scene at 111th and South Longwood.
They're taping up right now.
The other at Prospect and Homewood, where you see Chicago police officers putting up crime tape around a white van where it appears there are multiple bullet holes. If you take a look at this map, it shows both crime scenes blocks away from Chicago Police District 22 headquarters.
That appears to be a drug deal gone bad.
How alarming is this, knowing it was just blocks away from a police station?
I think it's just another example of how dangerous communities are when you have people involved in drugs, in possession of weapons.
Alderman Matthew O'Shea from the 19th Ward tells Fox Chicago that Chicago police briefed him about what happened and said, while we don't know what was said before 3 men got shot, there were multiple guns inside the car.
Somebody in the car called 911.
The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed that man to be 28-year-old Vincent Quindon from Chicago. One man is in critical condition with multiple gunshot wounds. Another is in good condition after getting shot in the foot.
I reached out to several businesses in the area to ask them about their personal safety, considering this fatal shooting happened just blocks away from a Chicago police station. And while none of them wanted to go on camera, a few of them told me off camera that they would like to see more Chicago police officers here on patrol, especially at night.
O'Shea also said there's surveillance video from Wednesday night that could answer some questions about why all of this happened.
Somebody involved here was in some building, an apartment there somewhere in the vicinity where this would have, someone was picked up and a drug transaction was underway. Hopefully the surviving members of this incident will cooperate with law enforcement and we can get to the bottom of this.
In Morgan Park, Brett Bugansky, Fox Chicago.
More than a dozen college basketball players have been charged in a massive betting scheme to rig NCAA and Chinese Basketball Association games. That federal investigation was announced in Pennsylvania but has ties here to Chicago. Prosecutors say that the scheme lasted for 3 years, including 17 Division I men's programs, dozens of players, and 29 games.
This conspiracy, we allege, originated on the other side of the world in China in 2022 with Antonio Blakeney, a former LSU All-American college basketball player and former NBA Chicago Bull player, who, with his co-defendants, Marvis Fairley and Shane Hennon, first colluded to fix Professional Chinese Basketball Association games.
So far, the Chicago Bulls have not commented on that indictment.
Indiana could be one step closer to being the new home of the Chicago Bears. Lawmakers revealed legislation creating the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority. It would be a public body acting as a de facto owner of any new Bear stadium. There would be 3 members, and they would have the authority to issue bonds to buy land and finance construction, which is a major difference from the proposal in Arlington Heights. In a statement released by the Bears, the team says the legislation is a significant step. It also appreciates the leadership and responsiveness from Indiana's governor and Indiana lawmakers. Now switching over to talking about the game. Maybe we'll talk about the stadium later.
Yes.
The Bears are getting ready for this divisional game at Soldier Field.
We're hoping it is a big-time home field advantage in terms of the weather this weekend, Mike.
I've heard that Mr. Cornelison is going to be doing the national anthem.
Oh.
So that right there should be a great way to start the game. Excitement building for this one. The Bears against the Rams Sunday evening. It's a tough task for the Bears secondary. They got to go up against the league's top passer and that scoring offense. Good thing Kyler Gordon and C.J. Gardner-Johnson are back. Both were full practice yesterday. Bears players and coaches not feeling too worried about the Rams.
We got to really stay within ourselves, trust each other, and really play within our game plan. You got a lot of playmakers over there in here, so we got to continue to focus on us.
It's a well-rounded team, probably the best offense that we'll face all season long. They're playing at an extremely high level, and you're right. It's going to take an exceptional effort on our part to give ourselves a chance.
Before the game, why don't you tune in to Fox 32 for Game Day Live? That airs at 12:30 on Sunday. We'll have the very latest for you. Injuries, headlines, other important factors of the game. We're going to break it down. And then after the game is over, come back here to Fox and tune in for our post-game coverage. Lou and everybody will be here breaking it down, hopefully with big smiles on their faces. Now on to baseball. A lot of Cubs fans are smiling. Here's why. We got Alex Bregman, new third baseman. He showed up at Wrigley yesterday, putting on his number 3 jersey. He signed a 5-year, $175 million contract with the team. So the Cubs rolled out that welcome mat for him and his family. Take a look at this. Oh, that's cute. The Cubs posted this video of Bregman and his family arriving. They toured Wrigley Field, obviously met Clark there, and they had a nice look at the stadium ahead of speaking to the media. Bregman's goal while in Chicago, number 3 is significant. He wants to win a 3rd championship. Were you hoping the Cubs would somehow or another have money for Kyle Tucker? Forget about it. It's not happening. You know who's got money? The Dodgers. King Tuck agreed to a 4-year, $240 million contract with the Dodgers. He's going to make about $60 million a year, possibly becoming the 2nd highest annual salary in baseball history. Because of the deal with the Dodgers, a little bit of good news here. The Cubs get a compensatory draft pick. All right, taking a look at today's sports schedule. The Bulls take on the Nets this evening at 6:30. DePaul Men's Hoops will host Marquette. Friday night action. Tip-off at 7:30. And UIC Women will take on Evansville at 6 p.m. We are seeing snow return to the area. We had a little bit late last night and a few hour gap, and now the snow is coming back. Not quite in the city yet, but it is going to arrive just in time for the kids going to school. By 7 o'clock, it'll be snowing across pretty much all of Chicagoland. Temperatures are going to be rising, though. In fact, I think we'll get above freezing. Not as cold during the afternoon. It'll be in the mid-30s with a couple of additional snow showers. It'll be kind of slushy underfoot, so some waterproof shoes are going to be in order there, and the winter coat, hat, and gloves. 25 at O'Hare, Midway, Chicago Heights, Michigan City, Woodstock 24, LaSalle, Peru, and Joliet leading the way with 28s. Winds pretty stout coming straight out of the south now. Looks like Midway, the strongest gust at 23 miles an hour. We'll see winds in this speed range pretty much throughout the day today. So the wind chills mainly in the teens, feels like 15 at Aurora, 12 at Woodstock and Waukegan, 14 at Gary, Michigan City, and also Kankakee. There's the first wave of snow laid down about a half inch. Here comes the next batch of of snow. This is going to be several hours worth of kind of light to moderate snow. Not as heavy as what came down a couple of days ago, but enough to impact the morning rush hour. Here you see that snow overspreading the area, but moving out of here by roughly 10 o'clock, hanging on a little bit longer there in northwest Indiana. During the afternoon, a couple of spotty snow showers, so it won't be the big blob of snow that we have this morning, but you may encounter a couple of snow showers even during the afternoon commute. So, the cold day today, guys, but not as cold as it's going to be this weekend. I'll show you the 7-day here in just a few.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Well, coming up, protests in Iran seem to be dying down.
Why the U.S. may still intervene when we come back.
But before we go, I want to show off some of the photos that we get from our viewers every single Orange Friday here on Good Day Chicago. We're trying to bear down as we try to beat the Rams and advance to the NFC Championship game this Sunday.
We turn
Welcome back. Some of the massive protests in Iran may be fading now after an aggressive and bloody crackdown from the regime there.
The U.S., however, could still decide to launch a military intervention. Our Doug Luzader joins us live from Washington, D.C. this morning. So, Doug, what is the latest on the ground there in this situation between the U.S. and Iran?
Well, it's certainly possible the U.S. Could still intervene militarily. This may be a question of military assets in the region, and there is apparently a carrier strike group that's going to make its way to the Middle East. That's going to take a few days to happen, but that will give the president more options should he choose the military option. But the unrest in Iran seems to have died down to some degree. Now, that may be largely because of the brutal methods that the regime has used to crack down on protesters. But at the same time, the regime did seem to kind of acquiesce to some of Trump's demands, including a halt to executions. So for now, the regime seems to be on a little bit more stable footing, but there are still a lot of folks that are pressing for the U.S. To intervene in some ways on behalf of these protesters to eventually lead to regime change there in Iran.
You know, you kind of hinted at it, Doug, but what could be some signs that we should know that the U.S. would be preparing to intervene with Iran?
Well, the White House just says that all options are on the table, so we'll see what the president decides to do. There's really no clear timeline at the moment.
And Doug, one more question for you. What are our allies saying about the situation in the U.S. deciding whether or not to get involved?
Well, you know, it really depends on the ally. I think there was a report that that Israel was pressing the United States to hold off on an attack. You know, a lot of this may have to do with timing, and you know, obviously, you have allies of Iran, including Russia, that are against any kind of military action.
All right, that is our Doug Luzader reporting live from D.C. this morning on the latest happening in Iran. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. President Trump shares new details of a health care plan he wants Congress to take up. The cornerstone would send money directly to Americans for health savings accounts so they can choose how to pay for insurance and medical care. But Democrats argue it's not enough and will not replace the tax credits that just expired at the start of the year. Trump's plan also focuses on requiring insurers to be more open about costs of rejected claims and lowering drug prices.
So instead of Americans paying the highest drug prices in the world, which we have for decades, we will now be paying the lowest cost paid by any other nation. So any other nation that's paying the lowest cost, that's what we're going to pay. And the American people will get the savings.
There's no word yet on how much money each person would get through the plan or when Congress would move forward with it.
United Airlines flight attendants are fighting for a new contract. Flight attendants were seen picketing outside of the airline's headquarters at Willis Tower. They said that they've been working without a contract for almost 5 years. Union representatives are demanding that the airline CEO pay workers a fair wage.
Inflation's gone up, bills have gone up. We show up for work every single day. We're not being paid by the time for the boarding of the airplane. We're not being paid in between flights. And it's time that Scott Kirby treats his flight attendants the way they deserve to be treated and give us a contract that's industry leading.
United has not responded to this protest.
Actor Matthew McConaughey is saying no way to artificial intelligence. He says he's trademarked his voice and image in an effort to save them from unauthorized AI use. The Wall Street Journal says several clips, including his famous, all right, all right, all right. Did I get it right, guys? Yeah? All right, catchphrase from 1993 film Dazed and Confused have been registered to the United States Patent and Trademark Office database. McConaughey is said to be the first actor who has attempted to use trademark law to protect their likeness from AI misuse.
All right, time is now 5:21 on the dot. This Friday, Mike Woodson's store as folks are making plans. Some people may have plans outside of the Bears this weekend. So what's going to be greeting them?
What? Something else is going on? Like what? Like what? Come on now. Look, we have some snow out there. We have some cold. Today is going to be the warmest day of the bunch, and that's not saying much. This is the snow that came through late last night and departed here. It's been gone for a couple of hours. But here comes round two, approaching from the west. This is going to be several hours of kind of light to moderate snow that's probably going to accumulate about an inch or so. This is tied to a cold front that's going to come through here later today. And once that front passes, temperatures are going to start to crash. There may be a brief snow shower around this evening. Not much in terms of accumulation beyond what we got this morning. But you see, even tomorrow, we're close to an area of light snow. It can be light snow at almost any time tomorrow. Then a gap most of Sunday. But I think Sunday afternoon and evening, we might actually get another snow shower coming in with another disturbance approaching from the northwest. There's kind of a parade of these things coming in from the northwest. This is Sunday morning at 10:30, and you can see the reason why I'm going to put in a couple of snow showers for the afternoon and early evening. Not much accumulation with that. However, today, I think about an inch or so on top of what came down overnight. So we're looking at general accumulations somewhere between 1 and 2 inches. Nobody's going to get a heck of a lot more than anybody else. And then we'll keep some light snow going through the day tomorrow with minimal additional accum. 35. That's good news. The salt on the road is going to be very effective here later today. But watch out for some slippery conditions this morning. It is below freezing, and it will be snowing here for most of that morning rush hour. Tonight, an evening snow shower ends, a low temperature of 15. A quick check of the 7-day, really focusing on the cold here. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday really bitter, with the worst of the cold hitting on the King holiday. So at least folks will be able to, well, the kids will be able to stay home and maybe stay indoors. Temperatures moderating middle and end of next next week. All right, Gabrielle, you were saying there's one crash?
Yeah, actually 2 crashes on the Eisenhower. But yeah, if you're at home right now and you're an early bird, sipping on that coffee, watching us, maybe you have work later on this morning, get a head start for yourself because like Mike said, maybe slippery out there, especially on those untreated roads, those side streets in your neighborhood. Your drive times are looking okay right now. Obviously, there's low traffic volume at 5 or almost 5:30 in the morning. But let's talk about these 2 crashes. One is a new one, eastbound on the Eisenhower at Gulf Road. It's a crash involving just 1 vehicle, and it's possibly just blocking the left lane. But the other one that's a little more serious is now blocking 3 left lanes as crews try to clean this up. It's a crash involving a car and a semi-truck. This one is outbound on the Eisenhower approaching Central. Again, a lot of crews there. You're going to see a lot of flashing lights, and that's why we're seeing a little bit of stop and go as you approach that area. All right, stay with us. Much more Good Day Chicago after this break. If you think you look like Caleb Williams or you know someone who does, now is that person's time to shine. The Wiener Circle is hosting a look-alike contest for fans who resemble the Bears star quarterback, because why not? You can show up at the hot dog stand on Clark Street next Tuesday at 6 p.m. It needs to be 6 a.m. so we can get in on this.
That's true, right?
The winner will take home...
team to have all the fun.
I know, no kidding. The winner will take home a Wiener Circle gift card and some new merch.
Well, Bears tight end Cole Kmet's family is taking a trip down memory lane by returning to his former high school and visiting his former baseball team. Kmet was a member of St. Viator's baseball team during their 2017 state championship run. That is where he draws his inspiration for that, his signature touchdown celebration of hitting a home run. One of his former teammates says that watching Kmet's journey to the NFL has just truly been amazing.
It's cool to see him kind of just live out every Northwest suburb boy's dream, from going to the University of Notre Dame to going to the Chicago Bears, his hometown, team that he grew up rooting for. It's literally can't write a better picture than that, story than that.
Kmet's a big dude. You can see him playing first base, right? in Major League Baseball, or maybe a DH or something. Well, the entire team says that they're rooting for the Bears to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
It's crazy to see multi-sport athletes like that. They're just kind of like, that just shows you that they're pretty much superhumans. Yeah. I did meet Cole Kmet actually at Dunkin' Donut for the Cop on a Roof.
Cop on a,
It was awesome. Okay. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very
nice.
He's
very down to earth, very cool guy. Yes.
Mike Kaplan, you're also a nice guy.
I know,
Brian,
but I'm
you're a
not
nice
as
guy.
handsome as number 85. I get
It's
that.
just it's
All
a
right.
smile. It's like that little.
No one's coming up to me at Dunkin' Donuts to say, hey, there's more.
You either got it or you don't.
I know. All right, we have some light snow returning to the area after we picked up about a half-inch overnight. And where you see the green shaded areas where it's snowing a little bit harder than elsewhere. And right now that's over parts of Lake, McHenry, Northern Kane, and DeKalb County. I'll pause it here and zoom in and show you some of the spots picking up a little bit more in the way of snow. If you're on Route 45, it's snowing pretty good. Northwest Highway, snowing there. Route 20 and, of course, I-90 there. So watch out for some slippery spots because temperatures are still below freezing. That's going to change a little bit later. We'll get above freezing this afternoon, but this is going to kind of gum up the works here during the rush hour with that snow likely reaching the city here starting right around 6 o'clock. 35 degrees for the high, occasional snow, about an inch of additional accumulation coming in. It will be breezy, but that southwest wind is actually driving in the milder air. Tonight, any snow will come to an end in the evening, but we're not quite done with the snow because there can be a couple of scattered snow showers tomorrow and maybe even a little bit of light snow sneaking in here Sunday afternoon and evening, and that could impact the Bears-Rams game at Soldier Field Sunday night. It'll be dry but really cold on Monday for the King holiday. I have only 20 degrees on Tuesday, freezing on Wednesday, and we'll back it down the upper 20s on Thursday. Back to you.
We'll be bundling up for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right, stick around.
We have more news, weather, and traffic here on Good Day Chicago coming up. Back. Right now on Good Day, residents in Manhattan, Illinois voiced their concerns following a deadly crash involving a school bus.
Many college basketball players are facing charges in connection to a massive betting scheme.
The Chicago Cubs introduced third baseman Alex Bregman. His goal? To win the World Series a third time, just like that 3 on his jersey. Mike Kaplan.
Let's hope we get it done. All right, cloud cover over the city with snow on the way. Some of you already getting that. This is going to impact that morning commute, so pay attention to what Gabriella has to say here throughout the morning. What's going on out there right now?
You know, Mike, still have this filter on that shows you where we have snow-covered roads. I know it's a pretty simple filter here, but it just kind of gives you a little bit of a warning what you could expect here later on, especially you said starting at like 6 to 10 a.m. might be part of the hardest hit time. So if you are sitting around waiting to get to work, maybe you're you're leaving at your normal time, maybe leave like 10 minutes early. It wouldn't hurt on a morning like this. But right now we're looking okay with those crashes on the Eisenhower. That one outbound on the Eisenhower approaching Central I was telling you about, it involved a car and a semi-truck. That is close to being cleared. It was blocking 3 left lanes, but still expect at least a lane blockage there. Let's take a look at your drive times here for 5:30 on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. 25 minutes, under 25 on the Eisenhower, 20 minutes on the Stevenson, and we're looking at under 20 minutes on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne interchange. All right, it's about time for the Los Angeles Rams to get out of California and come over to Chicago.
The chilly Chicago, right? Well, Rosanna's live this morning with fans being super excited for the divisional round of the playoffs this Sunday. Roseanne?
Yeah, the whole city getting pumped up, but I do have a suggestion. After last week's game, I think that after this Sunday, that they should definitely get structural engineers out here to maybe check the integrity of the building, because I could swear last week I saw it move. It was that action-packed of a game, and fans were that crazy. Fans are really pumped up.
Tear down Chicago Bears, fight with the might so fiercely.
Monday, the Bears Monster Squad was getting fans even more revved up outside Union Station with the Leo High School Choir. They handed out some bling and offered up selfies with Staley the Bear. And then yesterday, the Monster Squad was added again outside the Merchandise Mart where the Iceman cometh, a giant statue of Iceman Caleb Williams. And Bears merchandise, as you could guess, flying off store shelves. One store telling us sales are up 500% from this time last year. Caleb Williams jerseys are a hot seller, along with all the usual hats and whatnot, plus the new #1 item. You guessed it, that cheese grater hat. Oh, it was genius. And who knew cheese graters from home could come in handy at a Bears game at Soldier Field? You can thank Brandon Martinez for the idea. He was seen shredding cheese from the stand, starting a whole new ritual for Bears-Packers games. So I don't know, now that they're on to the fact that people might be bringing cheese graters, I don't know if they're going to turn up those, metal detectors a notch. I don't know how that guy got it in, but I heard Jake interviewing him, and he asked, I loved his first question, the most important question, what kind of cheese? Well, it happened to be Parmesan, but I've seen people shredding all kinds of cheese for that new, like I said, the new ritual at Packers games. But this Sunday, it's just going to be all about just the excitement of this divisional playoff game. The city's going to be crazy. We're going to be talking with fans in just a short while. I'll toss it back to you in the studio.
All right, Roseanne, yeah, we were suggesting maybe goat cheese would be something to shred. All right, we'll catch up with you again in the 6 o'clock hour.
All right, time is now 5:36 this morning. A deadly school bus crash in Manhattan is now raising some safety concerns.
Residents say they've been warning local leaders about this intersection for years. Fire officials say the bus and a vehicle collided at the intersection of Manhattan-Monee Road and Kankakee Road Thursday morning. 10 students from District 114 were on that bus. The driver of the vehicle died at the scene. Manhattan residents say the intersection has been dangerous for a long time. One resident tells Fox Chicago many people have complained to the village about serious crashes, even deadly ones, and still nothing has changed.
All the time. I mean, there's accidents, not necessarily right here, but these intersections, we're always seeing flashing lights and emergency vehicles.
Several times a year.
Yeah, this year there's been more than usual. A lot of LifeStar flights. There was one recently over there, and there was another one over here a couple of months back.
The cause of yesterday's crash is still under investigation.
In Minneapolis, protesters and federal agents continue to clash in the streets, and President Donald Trump is considering sending troops to the state. This all comes just 1 week after Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent. Minnesota police have tried to take control of the protest by using tear gas and flashbangs. President Trump says that he may use the Insurrection Act, which would allow him to send in the military or National Guard troops.
If the governor requests the assistance of federal troops, the president may deploy them. The second section of the Insurrection Act says that the president can deploy federal troops even against the state's wishes in order to, quote, enforce the laws or to suppress rebellion against the U.S. government.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says that President Trump has the constitutional authority to use the Insurrection Act. Well, we're learning more about Wednesday night's deadly shooting in Morgan Park.
One man died while 2 others were left wounded. Fox Chicago's Brett Baganski has more on this investigation.
You're talking about drugs and guns. No neighborhood is safe.
A fatal shooting Wednesday night in Morgan Park. 1 man dead, 2 more wounded. This is video we obtained from the Citizen app showing one crime scene at 111th and South Longwood.
They're taping that right now.
The other at Prospect and Homewood, where you see Chicago police officers putting up crime tape around a white van where it appears there are multiple bullet holes. If you take a look at this map, it shows both crime scenes blocks away from Chicago Police District 22 headquarters.
That appears to be a drug deal gone bad.
How alarming is this, knowing it was just blocks away from a police station?
I think it's just another example of how dangerous communities are when you have people involved in drugs, in possession of weapons.
Alderman Matthew O'Shea from the 19th Ward tells Fox Chicago that Chicago police briefed him about what happened and said while we don't know what was said before 3 men got shot, there were multiple guns inside the car.
Somebody in the car called 911.
The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed that man to be 28-year-old Vincent Quindon from Chicago. 1 man is in critical condition with multiple gunshot wounds. Another is in good condition after getting shot in the foot.
I reached out to several businesses in the area to ask them about their personal safety, considering this fatal shooting happened just blocks away from a Chicago police station. And while none of them wanted to go on camera, a few of them told me off camera that they would like to see more Chicago police officers here on patrol, especially at night.
O'Shea also said there's surveillance video from Wednesday night that could answer some questions about why all of this happened.
Right. Somebody involved here was in some building, an apartment there somewhere in the vicinity where this would have, someone was picked up and a drug transaction was underway. Hopefully the surviving members of this incident will cooperate with law enforcement and we can get to the bottom of this.
In Morgan Park, Brett Baganski, Fox Chicago.
More than a dozen college basketball players have been charged in a massive betting scheme to rig NCAA and Chinese Basketball Association games. This federal investigation was announced in Pennsylvania but has ties here to Chicago. Prosecutors say that the scheme lasted for 3 years, including 17 D1 men's programs, dozens of players, and 29 games.
This conspiracy, we allege, originated on the other side of the world in China in 2022 with Antonio Blakeney, a former LSU All-American college basketball player and former NBA Chicago Bull player, who, with his co-defendants, Marvis Fairley and Shane Hennon, first colluded to fix Professional Chinese Basketball Association games.
The Bulls have not commented on this indictment.
Indiana could be one step closer to being the new home of the Chicago Bears. Lawmakers revealed legislation creating the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority. It would be a public body acting as a de facto owner of any new Bears stadium. There would be 3 members, and they would have the authority to issue bonds to buy land and finance construction, which is a major difference from the proposal in Arlington Heights. In a statement released by the Bears, the team says the legislation is a significant step. It also appreciates leadership and responsiveness from Indiana's governor and Indiana lawmakers.
But for now, we're going to focus on the business of this Sunday against the LA Rams. So what are things looking like for the Rams coming in from LA, Mike?
Cold, breezy, and a chance for a little bit of snow on Sunday night. So absolutely perfect for the Bears and not so good for the Rams. The Rams, I'm sure, have been trying to do their best to practice outdoors and get some cold weather. But the Bears, they have their final outdoor practice today, and it's going to feel every bit like it does at Soldier Field coming up on Sunday night. Today actually will be warmer. It's 25 now. That'll be warmer than it is at any time on Sunday, and we're not done warming up. I think we'll get a little bit above freezing this afternoon. South-southwest winds blowing in some of that milder air. Wind chills 14 degrees. That's what it feels like on your skin that isn't covered. So for the kids going to the bus stop, make sure they've got the gloves and the hat, and prepare for snow, especially this morning. But there may be a little bit of snow this afternoon as temperatures get a few degrees above freezing. It's going to be kind of slushy too, so give them, the shoes that can handle a little bit of a wetness on them. 29 at Joliet, 25s now at Woodstock, Waukegan, O'Hare, Lakefront, Midway, 27 at Gary, 25 at Michigan City, LaSalle, Peru. You're up to 28 degrees. You're headed for maybe even the upper 30s there. Winds strong out of the south, not blowing down trees or anything, but we do have some 20-plus mile-per-hour gusts at Kankakee, Chicago Heights, and at Midway, and I think we'll see gusts in that general area this afternoon as well. Wind chills mainly in the teens, feels like 19 at Joliet, 13 at Midway, 12 the wind chill in Maryville, Indiana. So here's the snow overspreading the area, and just to clarify, I am using a radar color bank that uses green to kind of emphasize where the snow is coming down a little bit more heavily. I think it shows up easier for you to understand. And you see mainly north and west of the city, that's where the heavier snow is falling. But I just heard from the commissioner, Amy Sarver, my friend at the Warren Township Highway Department in the Gurnee area, just light snow coming down there. I think it's going to be mainly light to moderate snow, maybe an additional inch of accumulation. But even in the afternoon, once this system snow pushes out of here around 10 o'clock, there can be some spotty hit and miss snow showers, which could impact the afternoon commute. Tomorrow, most of the snow is going to be north of us, but I think a few snow showers will be possible. Light stuff once again, little additional accumulation tomorrow. I think whatever accumulation we're going to get is going to happen this morning. But this new feature right here, that's Sunday, and it now looks like Sunday afternoon into the evening hours, there could be a light accumulating snow around here. Today up to 35. Good news there for the chemicals on the road. They will be super effective at cleaning the stuff up after it's done snowing. Maybe another inch or so this morning. Tonight, a few snow showers early in the evening, then drying out, mostly cloudy, 15. Tomorrow's high, 20 on Sunday with some scattered snow showers. Monday, for the holiday, only 12 degrees on MLK Junior Day. We'll get up to around freezing, though, on Wednesday and close to that on Thursday. 5:45, we'll be right back.
From his
Well, it is quiet in Iran's capital as the regime's security crackdown moves from the streets to closed doors. This was the scene just days ago. Thousands of those demonstrators have been arrested, and others are being killed by security forces. But most experts say that the protests will return eventually because the government has not solved the root issue.
The problem is an economic problem, is inflation, is mass, incompetence of running of the economy. So those demonstrations will come back again unless the economy is fixed.
Iranian police are also looking for Starlink internet dishes, which are being used to get information out of the country. President Trump says Iran has given assurances that it will hold off on executions for now, as long as the violence stops.
President Trump shares new details of a health care plan he wants Congress to take up. The cornerstone would send money directly to Americans for health savings accounts so they can choose how to pay for insurance and medical care. But Democrats argue it's not enough and will not replace the tax credits that just expired at the start of the year. Trump's plan also focuses on requiring insurers to be more open about costs and rejected claims and lowering drug prices.
So instead of Americans paying the highest drug prices in the world, which we have for decades, we will now be paying the lowest cost paid by any other nation. So any other nation that's paying the lowest cost, that's what we're going to pay, and the American people will get the savings.
There's no word yet on how much money each person would get through the plan or when Congress would move forward with it.
United Airlines flight attendants are fighting for a new contract. Flight attendants were seen picketing outside of the airline's headquarters at Willis Tower. They said that they've been working without a contract for almost 5 years. Union representatives are demanding that the airline CEO, Scott Kirby, pay workers a fair wage.
Inflation's gone up, bills have gone up. We show up for work every single day. We're not being paid by the time for the boarding of the airplane. We're not being paid in between flights. And it's time that Scott Kirby treats his flight attendants the way they deserve to be treated and give us a contract that's industry leading.
United has not responded to this protest. Time is now 5:50 this morning. Coming up, there was a look-alike contest for Bears head coach Ben Johnson. Now we've got one for Caleb Williams.
Let's run it back. We'll have details on the contest after the break.
Fox 30.
Welcome back. People who want to see Bruno Mars at Soldier Field will now have 2 chances to see him live in concert. Live Nation says he set a record for the largest single-day ticket sales in Live Nation North American history. Look at that. The Grammy Award-winning performer will be in Chicago May 16th and the 17th. He's calling this the Romantic Tour, which will span nearly 70 shows across North America, Europe, and the UK. Now, if you think you look like Caleb Williams or you know someone, now is their time to shine. The Wiener Circle is hosting a look-alike contest for fans who resemble the Bears' star quarterback. You could show up at the hot dog stand on Clark Street, hungry and ready, next Tuesday at 6 p.m. The winner will take home a Wiener Circle gift card and some new merch.
Well, Bears tight end Cole Kmet's family taking a trip down memory lane by returning to his former high school and visiting his former baseball team. Kmet was a member of St. Viator's baseball team during their state championship run in 2017. That is where he draws inspiration for his signature touchdown celebration of hitting a home run. One of his former teammates says Kmet's journey to the NFL has been amazing to watch.
It's cool to see him kind of just live out every Northwest suburb boy's dream, from going to the University of Notre Dame to going to the Chicago Bears, his hometown, team that he grew up rooting for. It's literally, can't write a better picture than that, story than that.
It is a great story, right? Well, the entire team says, of course, they're rooting for the Bears to go all the way to the Super Bowl. But in order to get there, got to take care of business this Sunday, Mike.
We do.
I think they can get it done. I mean, we've been talking all week long about how good Stafford is and the offense, blah, 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 blah.
Now, we did say, we're talking about them playing in the cold.
Yep.
They played, I believe, didn't they beat the Eagles? Or no, they lost to the Eagles last year. They played in the cold, so they're used to this in the playoffs last year. I think they played in Philadelphia. I believe that was a pretty close game.
The Rams did.
Yeah, the Rams.
Yeah. Well, all I can say is the Rams lost to the Bears early last year when it wasn't that cold, so we don't even need it to be that cold to beat this team. So let's just go get it done. Weather-wise, I'm going to be showing this now throughout the morning, off and on, obviously. This is visibility, and why do I show it to you? Because it tells you how hard it is snowing. The lower the number, in general, the harder it's snowing. So nothing reported yet at O'Hare, Midway, where these 10-mile visibility is showing up. But 1 mile visibility at Rockford, that's pretty decent snowfall. And about 2 miles of visibility in the Woodstock area, 1.5 miles at Waukegan. So not surprisingly, where do you think the heavier snow is showing up on radar? Northwest of the city. There it is. And where I've got green here indicated on this radar map is where the snow is coming down a little bit more heavily. But none of this is really that much snow. We're looking at maybe another inch or so of accumulation. And by 10 o'clock, this stuff is pretty much out of here, lingering a little bit longer in northwest Indiana. Later today, can there be a spotty snow shower around? Sure, even into the afternoon commute. But will it be much? No. And then later this evening, everything quiets down. During the day tomorrow, can there be a patch of snow here or there? Yes. Will it be much? No. So we're not talking about a big snowstorm here, but several rounds of snow moving through, including now a higher confidence of something coming in here on Sunday, and that might actually impact the Bears game. 35 today. We'll get above freezing for a few hours this afternoon. That's going to be helpful in kind of cleaning up the roadways. Maybe an inch or so of additional accumulation. Tonight it gets colder. We'll be behind a cold front. Winds will veer to the west. 15 for the low. Any snow in the evening will end. Tomorrow, a spotty snow shower here or there. 20 for the high. That's it. 20 on Sunday with a chance for some light snow. Then on the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, a high of 12. Oh boy, wind chills will be below 0 in the morning. And then we'll kind of climb out of the deep freeze, getting up to 32 degrees on Wednesday. Temperature staying in the upper 20s on Thursday. No big snowstorm in sight, but occasional light snow here right on through Sunday. Here's what we've got for 2 photos that were submitted from the Fox 32 weather app. Kathy doing her thing there in Porter, Indiana, giving us a look at blue skies after a little light dusting of snow. Does not look like there's a tremendous amount of snow on the ground there, but I know other parts of Porter County did get several inches. Thanks for that pretty shot, Kathy. And our second photo, also, we're looking at snow. In this case, Mark Smith from Saugatuck, Michigan, is showing us the snow, that's lake effect snow, out there across the lake that may have moved in there. Look at those white caps on Lake Michigan, too. That is a cool photo. Mark, thank you for your submission. Snow about to hit the city. It's going to impact our morning commutes. You got to stay with us for traffic and weather updates. Of course, the latest news right here on Good Day.
These are the Good Day Chicago at 6 starts now.
And right now at 6, protests intensify in Minneapolis after President Trump threatens to invoke the Insurrection Act.
Lawmakers in Indiana are taking steps toward